Program which allowed immigrant investors to buy their way, at least to near the front of the line, was killed off by the federal government this week. One premier is not terribly impressed. Saskatchewan's Brad Wall joins us by phone from Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Well, Premier Wall, what was your experience with this Immigrant Investor Program? Good or bad or indifferent?
Well, I would say very good as of late, Don. And by the way, in the federal budget, we noted some good things. We like that new apprenticeship program. We like that they're heading for balance next year. We like that they're going to balance it without cuts to transfers that we saw in the 90s. But in this particular program cut, we see for us the loss of important funding for a housing initiative. That's what we were using the immigrant dollars for. In fact, about $169 million over the last number of years for something that we put together called Head Start on a Home. Head Start on a Home built 1,339 new homes, created a lot of new homeowners at a time of a housing shortage in our growing economy. And you know, our message to the feds when we were hearing rumors of this was, come and have a look at this program. We understand you've got concerns, maybe in certain other jurisdictions, but before we cancel it, in the case of our province, we're able to use this for our housing initiative for new home construction, $169 million that aren't taxpayers' dollars, that don't have to come from the province or the federal government, that are dealing with a major issue like housing. And you know, it's unfortunate that the thing's been cut because they had some concerns, perhaps localized to certain areas.
Yeah, well, so now that it's been canceled, what do you think the impact on your particular province is going to be?
We're going to continue to work with them. They talked in the budget about maybe a pilot project to replace it. You know, we're going to ask that it be us. We're frankly going to ask that maybe Saskatchewan get the same kind of treatment that Quebec is getting. Quebec, of course, has control over its own immigration policy, and so it is not affected by this. It's going to continue to be able to issue Canadian passports to immigrant investors, as it always has. And we're going to ask the federal government for equal treatment because we are using, I think we're consistent in the use of these dollars here in the province with the principles of the program. I know the federal minister said, well, we don't know how many immigrants are actually, you know, locating to Saskatchewan permanently. Well, this part of the immigration stream is really about the capital. And we would rather have that than to have any, for example, governments, taxpayers on the hook for, in this case, what has been important housing investment. So, you know, there was not a lot of consultation. There were rumors.
As you pointed out.
Yeah.
As you point out, though, I mean, there was some concern that these people were, you know, doing their $800,000 investment and then not sticking around. You know, they're bringing their families in, and not the investors themselves weren't. I mean, there must be probably a better way to lure investment dollars to a booming province like Saskatchewan, isn't there?
Well, in the case, there is certainly there's additional ways certainly, and we've seen that. We've seen record capital investment, but this is another stream, and to the extent that we are able to be able to deploy these resources on an important front like our housing shortage, it was crucial to the overall plan that Saskatchewan has. And again, I think if the federal government had a look at what we were doing, and arguably some other jurisdictions, I'm not sure, they might have approached this a little bit differently. We're hopeful that in the new pilot that will replace this, or that will sort of be that'll be in place instead of this initiative, that we can be a part of it. Otherwise, you know, you do have to find another stream. $169 million is a lot of money. That's what we've been able to deploy as a result of this program.
I want to quickly get you on another topic, if I could.
Sure.
We're always good at switching topics. The grain backup. We got ships lined up all through the harbors. They're waiting for grain. They can't get there. The rail lines are jammed. What do you hope the government, what do you expect the government could do to try and ease that bottleneck?
Well, you know, Minister Ritz, the federal minister, has been certainly on top of this file. He has been meeting with the rail companies, has been meeting with the grain handling companies and all the stakeholders, and we certainly have been. We've had ready access to the federal government with respect to our concerns. Don, you have touched on something that is absolutely huge, not just for the agricultural economy, but for the Canadian economy. The reliability brand of Canada is really on the line here. We know, you know, in the last little while, there's been between 35 and 45 ships waiting off port in Vancouver to be loaded with agricultural products. The port has capacity, and we can't get our product to market. There was a record crop. We know that cold temperatures, sustained periods of cold temperatures has hurt all of this. But now we need to find out if if it's a matter of resources, for example, we're hearing it's locomotives and personnel, we need those resources to be deployed. I'm sending a delegation of our ministers to meet both with the grain handling companies and the railway companies, and if there's the chance, and there is, that a federal government can exert some pressure with respect to penalties, we need to look at all of the options, because it's very serious.
Okay, Brad Wall, appreciate you taking the time to dial in.
Thanks, Don. Take care.